It's no secret that there's a black market for RuneScape Gold. Almost any MMORPG with a large enough player base is going to have some sort of underground real-world trading for some sort of currency. And when a country's minimum monthly wage is less than $2 US, farming in-game currency becomes a viable profession. However, some players have taken things a step further. Gone are the days where they would just kill green dragons for 500,000 GP, or roughly 40 cents an hour. Within the last week, a group has formed to farm content for upwards of 2 million GP, or almost a month's minimum wage each hour. This group has grown so large and powerful, they've become known as RuneScape's Venezuelan Mafia. Added in late November 2017, the Revenant Caves, also known as Revs, is a dungeon inside the player versus player area of RuneScape, known as the Wilderness. Killing the monsters inside the Rev Caves can earn you a profit of over 2 to 3 million GP per hour, with some rare jobs being worth upwards of 5 to 10 million GP. While Jagex has strict rules against real-world trading, it's unfortunately only one Google search away from buying and selling your GP for Bitcoin, other cryptos, or even straight from your credit card. The minimum daily wage in Venezuela is only 10 cents per day when measured in US dollars. When buying gold, that's only 200,000 GP, much less than what some monsters can drop in a single kill. Being a player versus player area, sometimes small groups would form to protect certain worlds or servers. These worlds were often hosted on total level worlds, which have a requirement to join. These groups would then sell access to these worlds for in-game GP. Players without access would be instantly attacked on sight by the groups holding these worlds down. Usually, the Venezuelans would just play in random worlds, keeping to player versus monster for the stable profit per hour. Recently, however, they've started to form one of RuneScape's strongest and largest PK clans, known as the Venezuelan Mafia. How do we know this? With hats. Now, I may sound silly when I say that we can know this with hats, but hold on and listen for a minute. While RuneScape does have a clan system, it's nowhere near the extent of something like World of Warcraft guilds, or something similar. Therefore, these Mafia members are going to need a way to identify each other when in the player versus player Rev Caves, which they do with pink and purple hats. Before I show you some recent footage of the Revenant Caves, let's take a look at the Grand Exchange Tracker, Old School Runescape's marketplace. First off, we'll start with the pink hats. Apart from being very fashionable, these are one of the two options for uniform for the newly formed clan. You'll see that the daily traded amount is steady at around 1500 on average, sometimes spiking over 2000. But on the 28th of August, when the Venezuelan Mafia was formed, the daily traded volume skyrocketed to 7,000 and then 11,000 and has remained high since. It's even more extreme for the purple hats. The purple hats have an average of around 1100 daily traded, before again skyrocketing up to a minimum of 7,000 hats traded per day. They also have a peak of over 17,000 hats in one day. While we can't say for sure that each hat traded is being used by one of these revenant farmers, or even a Venezuelan, it's pretty safe to say that this huge increase of over 1000% in volume has something to do with this newly formed Venezuelan Mafia. Now, in order to actually confirm this for myself, I decided to go into the Revenant Caves and investigate. I chose a random Australian world, as from my OSRX experience, the Australian worlds have a high Venezuelan player population. Now, although that some people state these gold farmers work shifts of over 8 hours, I went in at around 5 AM Venezuelan time, so just keep in mind that this was nowhere near their peak time. During this first clip, my only intention was to bait out the protectors, the real player killers. While I dress in bolt ragging gear with the black dragon hide and rune crossbow, I have no intention of actually killing them, so I've filled my inventory with healing items, so hopefully I can get a good view of the caves without dying straight away. In this clip, I'm teleporting in to run through the caves through the north. You'll see that I attack the first purple hat player I see. Within a second, I've angered the population of the caves, and all the other players are already helping him out and defending him. As I run down south to a level of the wilderness where I can safely teleport out, pay attention to the amount of players that are able to freely farm the Revenant Caves. So if you look closely, I'm attacking him now, and you can watch that all the other players inside the caves are now attacking me. Some have even skulled up, risking their own items just to protect this one player. Also keep an eye out and try and see the amount of people with the purple hats inside these Rev Caves. Luckily, I'm able to reach a level in the wilderness where I'm able to teleport out to safety. Now let's run a part of that clip again in slow motion for that instant replay. You see at least 3 of these purple pointy hat Mafia members just farming away in the caves. If the reports of these players working 6 to 8 hour shifts are true, they could be making well over 20 million GP, or 10 USD, each day. Keep in mind that the first trip was purely just to bait out their protectors, the player killers. Now the next clip I'm going to show you takes place around a minute after the first clip. Again, I'm just going to use the teleport scroll to teleport to the entrance and then run in. Keep in mind, I'm only risking around 200k GP, because spoiler, I might die. So, I get to the entrance of the caves, I chuck on my smite prayer to look even more like a player killer, and let's run south and see what happens. So keep in mind that it's off-peak time for them, around 5 AM, but they've had a whole minute to prepare. This gives all the player kills time to hop to the correct world to defend against a potential attack. However, that attack is just me. As you can see, there's at least 10 player kills, all on guard and ready to take me out. This is the protection team that the Venezuelan Mafia have on guard ready to protect their gold farmers. It's no coincidence that a huge team of PKs all logged in just to wait for me after I bolted one of their farmers. The unfortunate thing is that I'm just not sure what can be done in this situation. The socio-economic crisis in Venezuela may be causing them to turn to Old School Runescape to farm gold, but even with Jagex's rules and terms of service clearly banning real-world trading, it sadly still happens. I think that the current state of revenants needs to be looked at, as this Venezuelan mafia locking it down is not healthy for the state of the game. If any Venezuelan revenant gold farmers see this and would like to get in contact for an interview, you can find my email through YouTube. I'll happily pay you for your time. Other than that, thank you so much for watching the video and making it this far. I really do appreciate it. Please consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. Have a good one.